everyone. Welcome back to Love and Life Sorted. I'm Dr. Sandy Toe, and today we're going to be talking about finding someone who appreciates your unique assets. Yeah, so someone who adores you for something that you represent, for your unique quality that only you have. Yeah, so don't get it confused with being compatible because that other person, your partner, doesn't have to have those qualities. And it's actually more that they don't have it, but admire it in you. Yeah, so that is the biggest indication and the biggest guarantee that your relationship will work out in the long run. Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting because it's something that's completely different from being compatible because when you're compatible, you share the same interests and hobbies and those things, and there's nothing like really unique about it, right? But having someone who actually appreciates your unique qualities, your unique assets that are yours alone, actually makes them, adore you for the rest of your life. And the interesting is they actually don't have that. Like more of the times is that they don't have these qualities, but you have it and they really adore it in you. And, that will keep them around forever. Right. And you actually feel very motivated because they appreciate you, and feeling appreciated also keeps you motivated to stay in the relationship and just makes you very into the relationship. Right. Okay. I have a friend, and she is a huge gourmand and a bon vivant, a lover of delicacies and throwing parties. And yeah, she's like the matriarch of parties. And like, it's something that she is really good at and really loves. Yeah. And it was quite ironic that the past two partners that she had been with, did not appreciate that. Yeah, so these were two guys who actually did not love to eat, and they only liked to drink and to chat, but they were the complete opposite of her. Like they didn't mind sticking around for her parties, like because they like to drink, right? And they like to chat, but they didn't like the food she offered, and I guess they only just like to eat like some cold condiments with drinking. Like they didn't really appreciate like the thought that she put into cooking all these delicacies. And yeah, she does put a lot of time into scripting all the menu and to cooking the food and everything. And it's not only like the fact that they're not compatible in terms of the guys not appreciating food, but it's like I just find that they underappreciate the effort that she puts into making the food for the rest of the friends. And she even does this, like even knowing that these guys, they themselves, they don't really eat that much. But she does all of this elaborate cooking, the elaborate preparation, even if it's just hot pot. Yeah, so hot pot, you actually don't cook the food, but you have to have a lot of preparation ahead. And she puts them into like really beautiful dishes, and the presentation is really good, really nice, and puts a lot of thought into it. Even if it's just like a plate of vegetables, she puts it like really neatly. She's born to do this. Yeah, she's a huge like Epicurean. Yeah, and so it actually pains me to see whenever I like go to these events that she throws, like these parties, these hot pot dinners, that her partners, they just they would pick at the food, yeah, and they would eat the food if they felt like it, but I just find that they don't appreciate her as much as she deserves, because I, being a bystander of this, like I would even appreciate my friend a lot. Like I would tell her, "Wow, you went to all this effort to do this." And once why I like learned to appreciate it so much was because I was involved in preparation. So I think it was like this huge elaborate Christmas dinner that she threw for her boyfriend's friends and her friends. Like I joined, and I had to go help her source the food. from like all these different places. Yeah, so it's not just one supermarket, but it was like there was a Chinese supermarket, there was like a Western supermarket, and there was like a fresh market, and there was a farmer's market. Yeah, like so we spent the whole afternoon doing these tasks, like going all over the place, just to source the ingredients that she needed to make her elaborate Christmas feast. Yeah, so like I was thinking, wow, okay, even I rolled my eyes at one point. I was thinking, do you have to go to so many places to source the food? Why can't we just get like platters, ready-made platters from M&S or something, right? From Marks and Spencer or something. Like nothing wrong with that, right? Or like ready-made turkey or something. And she's like, no, we have to make it from scratch. Like something like, oh, the broth won't be good if we use ready-made, or we have to source this from that, and that's fresher from here. Wow, and I was like, I was like so impressed that she would spend all this time and energy just to get like a meal right, just to impress like her boyfriend's friends, or to I guess to just show that she cares, right? To be a perfect hostess. All the love that was put into the feast, even I, deeply appreciated it because I helped with it. Okay, so I was like, wow, I would love to be appreciated for this, like for all the effort that I made. And yeah, of course, like after we made all the food and put it out, of course the guests were all awed and like extremely impressed, and oh, thanks so much for the feast, and like clinking and cheering and everything. But I was just thinking, well, like her boyfriend was probably the one who expressed the least appreciation. Maybe because he's taking it for granted, because he's always there for these things. Like he never needed to move a finger because it was all served for him, and because she knows that he's not like a fan of like the food anyway, so she doesn't really involve him in making the food. And so yeah, all of these things measured up. At one point, like there was like the boiling point, and then it all boiled over, and of course, as I had predicted, that it didn't work out in the end. Yeah, they fell apart in the end. And I just have the feeling that it has to do with the fact that he didn't appreciate her for what she stands for, and that he didn't appreciate her for her unique assets, which was her ability to like be like such a gourmand, like her deep love of food, like how she spends all this effort to make it and to serve it and everything. Yeah, I was thinking, if she had been with a guy who actually loves her for this, like really appreciates and really admires her for doing all of this, really appreciates her talent as like a party thrower, as this bon vivant, appreciates her dedication, sophistication, and whatnot, then she would be the apple of his eye, and she would have it really well with this guy, right? But unfortunately, it wasn't the case for like both of the boyfriends that I've met. Like they were just like really underappreciating of all the effort that she's done, and I think she deserves much better than these two guys. And so I can tell you, in the end, she had my blessing, to actually find a husband who appreciates her for all of this. And the funny thing is, this guy also does not eat that much. Yeah, so even my friend told me, oh, he's like so busy and everything. He's so skinny because he doesn't eat that much. He doesn't have time to eat, and I guess like he doesn't eat half as much as I do. But the funny thing is, he adores her for throwing these parties, and he thinks of her as the perfect host, and like the way he looks at her when she serves the food and when she makes the speeches is just wow. Okay, like a eureka moment. She's found her person for sure. And I can see such a stark difference between him and the other guys that she's been with, who I was thinking secretly, oh, it won't work because they're so not appreciating her for who she is, for her unique assets, right? But now I'm so glad that she found someone who really appreciates her deeply and adores her for it. Yeah, and regardless of whether or not he eats so much of the food, he just loves it that she's there to serve everyone and she puts in so much love and dedication to it. And, the way that she just like admires her for it is just unmistakable. Yeah, so yeah, they're in it for the long run for sure. So the same thing goes as me and my husband. He's not a writer and he doesn't know astrology. So he that gets the science mixed up and everything. But it's funny how when I first met him, I actually bombarded him with so much of my astrological talk and stuff, about studying compatibility between signs and everything. And he doesn't know about it, but he loved listening to me talk about it. And he even told me that, yeah, even though I don't know anything about this, but I like he loves showing off that I can like know these things to his friends, and he actually tells me to do birth chart comparisons for his friends. Right then and there. So it is quite interesting how this is something that he knows nothing about prior to knowing me, but he actually, well, I would say that yeah, he does admire me for knowing it, and he does appreciate like my knowledge of it, and he even wants me to share this knowledge with his friends. Like he shows it off to his friends. So yeah, like I'm happy that he appreciates it, and I feel adored and loved, and yeah, it works out really well. Like even though we're not compatible at all on this level, he doesn't know the stuff that I know and vice versa, but he admires me for it. He really appreciates my unique assets. Yeah, so it works out the other way too, because like I know nothing about what he does, like about his interest of soccer, footy, yeah, but I admire like his extensive knowledge of it. Yeah, so I would never watch it with him. And nowadays, like because well, we have our son and everything, like we don't have time to go watch like long games or anything, sports games on TV. But yeah, but I really appreciate the fact that he knows so much about it, and yeah, I admire him for that too. So I think like we don't have to be compatible in that way. We don't have to love the stuff that they love, but we can admire them for knowing about it, for their unique assets. And that is a huge gel in the relationship. Yeah, after doing a lot of research on couples, like that is what I have understood. And remember how there was one episode where I interviewed Florence, my friend who married a Canadian man. Yeah, so for her as well, they have this cultural difference, which is the same as like I said, my friend who has like two boyfriends before who didn't like eating, didn't appreciate her cooking. Like those guys were also of a different culture as her. Yeah, but the thing is, the difference between Florence's Canadian husband and those two of my friend's boyfriends was that Florence's husband like really appreciated her Chineseness, like appreciated like even more than herself. Like he was the one who insists on his kids going to local Chinese schools and not international schools, because he felt that they really needed to learn Chinese really fluently, and he himself is also trying to be fluent in it. And he would take their kids to go have dim sum. And yeah, he really appreciates like the Chinese background of Florence, whereas those two guys that my friend once dated, they didn't appreciate her Chineseness at all. Yeah, well, okay, my friend also has a very westernized side as well, but the fact is that like she loves to prepare Chinese delicacies. That's why I just said that she had to go to Chinese supermarkets as well to source her ingredients. This is something that's like really inherent to her. No matter where she is in the world, like she needs her Chinese ingredients to cook, right? And so those two guys, like they knew nothing about the ingredients, but they also, well, they didn't care about it and they didn't appreciate it. Like the fact that she would go like miles and miles to find a Chinese place that sells these things. Yeah, but like on the contrary, Florence's husband really appreciated the Chinese background of Florence. the unique assets that Florence and her family bring to the marriage. Yeah, so talking about cultural difference, I just read an article about Amanda Lee. She's a singer, and then she married a British husband. And she was just saying that they fought over the fact that she had preserved like some kumquats for 50 years. Yeah, so yeah, she spent 50 years preserving these kumquats, and I don't know if it was just from her generation, or it was like from before. Yeah, I don't know like when the 50 years started. It was from her or from like her ancestor or something. But anyway, like she had this like beloved jar of kumquats, and she said that her husband was not appreciative of it at all, and he almost threw it away, and he had always threatened to throw it away because he's like, wow, 50 years. They've expired for sure. Like, is there health hazards or something? Probably that's what he's thinking because this is something so foreign to him. But he doesn't understand that, like Amanda, she's a singer and she needs these kumquats to preserve her voice. Yeah, they're like drinking the water from these kumquats is actually very good for opening up your voice and preserving your voice. So, this is an example of someone who's not only not understanding about someone's like interests or someone's assets, but also rejects it. I think being with someone who doesn't appreciate your unique assets is like a chef being with someone who doesn't like their food, or a singer being with someone who doesn't like their songs. Oh, speaking about the singer example, I actually know someone who works in the entertainment industry, and I still remember that, like, his wife met him when he first started. But he, whenever we got together as a group, we would congratulate him on his new song or his new show or something, and we would say that's something really positive and encouraging about it, right? But his wife, he said, doesn't like what he does for some reason. Yeah, maybe back then, maybe she was afraid of him being exposed to a lot of hot young girl singers or movie stars. Yeah, so I really don't know if it is like for real, if she reacts like very lackluster, like she's not as encouraging as us because she thinks that she doesn't need to be like I don't know if it's for real, because if it was, then if I were her husband, boyfriend back then, like I don't think that he would be very encouraged or very happy if his own girlfriend doesn't appreciate like his unique assets, right? Like that's what he does, like that's what he loves, right? To entertain, to sing and to act and stuff. So isn't that you would like your other half to be your biggest fan if you go and perform and those things, right? So I'm not sure if she's just saying that, trying to discourage him because she feels like jealous of him, like because she feels wary that he gets to interact with a lot of hot girls because of his job. Yeah, I really can't get my finger on that, like even as of now. But well, the marriage worked out for a long time and they seem to be doing well. But I was just thinking, if he were like to be with someone who's like his number one fan, who really admires him for what he does, even if she doesn't do it, like she can admire him for doing it, then wouldn't it be even more ideal? So the thing is, I'm not saying that the marriage or the relationship won't work out if your other half doesn't admire deeply your unique qualities. But it will be definitely like more ideal and such a gel to the relationship to keep it forever alive. It was like, why did it work out more with Carrie and Big than Carrie and Aidan in Sex and the City? It was because, well, Big appreciated Carrie for her style, right? For her cosmopolitanism, for her sophistication. These were things that represented her. Right? And she also appreciated her humor because she wrote a sex column, and he read every single thing that she wrote, and even later on when they broke up, she wrote a book. It was a compilation of these articles. Like she wrote a book, and he read it cover to cover. That's what he said. And he could even like reach out to her and tell her what he liked, which page he liked, and wanted to discuss which page. But meanwhile, Aidan was like the opposite of that. Like he was more rustic, and he didn't appreciate her fashion or anything, because those were like the complete opposite of him. Like he doesn't like, I think he only like wears like, he only has like 5 different shirts, I think. And yeah, he's really different. And I think it's less because they're not compatible, in that he wants to go off to the woods in his cabin and chop wood with no aircon, and she couldn't wait to get back into the city, and she dreaded going there. Like there was no Wi-Fi, no internet, right? And I think it's less because of their incompatibilities, but it was more like, well, he never really took the interest to read her columns or to discuss them, like unlike Big. And yeah, he was just like a bit underappreciative of her unique assets, of her being so Carrie. Yeah, so I think that made her feel less special. Whereas like when she was with Big, although like Big didn't write himself, he didn't write books, he didn't write columns, but the fact that, he actually admired her for her qualities, like admired her humor, her take on New York, it just makes her feel more special when she's with Big. And that was why in the end she chose Big. So it's like a two-sided thing. Like when your partner admires you for your unique assets, really appreciates you, then you also feel this spark. Like you feel yourself coming alive in their eyes when you're with them. You feel special, like a feeling that you don't have with other people, So that is why it's like a two-way street. That is why the spark becomes alive for both people. Yeah, for the admirer and the admired. Yeah, so that is why I say it's so important for you to find someone who really appreciates your unique quality, your unique asset. And I can say that everyone has their unique asset. It's the same thing as saying everyone is their special person, right? So like if you can find someone who can appreciate you for being you, for your uniqueness, for your unique qualities, so that is the person who will stay, that's like your eureka moment. So I would have to say that like I know a lot of single girlfriends who have really big personalities. Like either they're very quirky in their own unique way, or they say things that like are really like uniquely them. Like other people won't have those reactions, like won't express themselves like they do, but like these are girls with big personalities. And I think that the reason that they haven't found someone yet is because they haven't found someone who can appreciate them for who they are, for their unique assets. But I feel that I genuinely feel that the moment that they do find this person who can appreciate their unique assets, that is their eureka moment. That's that is the time that they would be successful in finding a partner, for sure, for life. So really don't give up, because the right person is the person that will appreciate you for your unique assets and can admire you for who you really are. Yeah, so because everyone brings something different to the table and everyone is unique in themselves. And remember, you don't have to be compatible with them, and they can be completely different from you in that respect. Just look at Carrie and Big. Yeah, so what he does is completely different. He's a financier, and like she's a sex columnist. Like what they do is completely different, and they know nothing about what each other does, right? But the thing is, like, he still reads her books cover to cover, and he really admires her, and he likes actually to show off her humor to his friends. And he said something like, the person you should be with is the person who makes you laugh at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's why, he came to his senses and he chose her because, she's not boring or she's not like a wallflower like her other girlfriends, like her model girlfriends, like his model girlfriends. Like she's like Carrie. Yeah, he really appreciates her unique qualities as her. So for all the single girls out there who haven't found someone yet, it's because you just haven't found someone who can appreciate you for being you, for your unique assets. And they don't even need to be like anything very particular. It can just be, maybe the way that you talk, the way you express yourself, or your really unique humor, your idiosyncrasies, like your quirkiness or something that maybe just other people, observers, they don't get. Yeah, so for just like maybe like for some other guys or some other people, some passerbys, they just pass by without acknowledging it, or they just let your uniqueness pass them by because they were just not meant for you. They don't understand you in that way. Yeah, so like don't be discouraged because you just haven't found that one person who can appreciate your unique quality. Right. So yeah, I'm really, really optimistic that once you find this person, that is your eureka moment. That is your partner for life. It was like before I met my husband, I met some guys who were like that. I'm a huge communicator and I love expressing my opinions and I like talking about values and things that are abstract. I have my point of view on a lot of things like, person, places, things, or issues. Yeah, and, I just felt that like when I came across these other guys, I just felt that like some of them were like meh, like when they like listened to me talk about these things, like they were like meh, it's not that they were annoyed or put off or anything. And they would suggest, going out again and stuff. But you just feel like in their presence when you were, like when I was talking about the stuff that I'm passionate about, like expressing my opinions like I always do, like sharing my perspectives and stuff, I just don't feel like they're very engaged or it's not like I'm looking for a rejoinder from them, like they can just as well be listening on or something. But I just don't feel that like they're very like admiring. Yeah, I don't know if I should put it that way, but you can feel it when someone looks at you in a different way or is like highly appreciative of what you bring to the relationship, to the conversation. Right? So I just don't feel that happening. I just don't feel that they get me or that I'm really special in their eyes. Yeah, just don't feel really special. And it's like I'm the same as any other girl and anyone can offer what I have to offer. I think this just puts like a halt in the relationship. It just like, I just feel that I can do better than that and I could find someone who really understands me, who gets me. So it's a highly subjective thing. What may work for someone may not work for someone else. Like what's like seen as special to someone may be completely generic to someone else. Yeah, so that's why I say everyone has their own person. And you have to search for that person who really deeply appreciates you for your unique assets. Yeah, so remember, don't give up and keep trying to find the person who can appreciate you for your unique quality, your unique assets, and you are set. I assure you that there is someone out there who will get you. We've all found that person. So yeah, so give it a try. Like, don't give up. That person is out there trying to find you and trying to decipher you and wanting to admire you. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. And remember to subscribe to Love and Life Sorted so you don't miss an episode. And if you haven't subscribed to my free newsletter, I urge you to do so we can continue our chats beyond the podcast. So remember to hop onto IG and follow us on IG so you can see more fun stuff. Okay, see you all next week. Bye!